Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and configure a new virtual machine using Oracle VM Virtualbox. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, picture this. You're working on your computer. Typically, it's either a desktop computer or a laptop computer. Okay, so when I say we're going to create a virtual machine, what we're actually going to do is create a virtual version of your desktop PC or your laptop PC. That's exactly what I mean. So it's going to virtualize all the physical components that exist in your desktop or your laptop, so to speak. Now be aware that when I say we're going to create and configure a virtual machine, that does not mean we're actually going to install an operating system on the computer or have an operating system on our virtual computer. Not at this point. Later on in the next video, we will look at that. But what I mean is we're going to create a virtual version of your physical computer. So it's like a computer that's switched off and the hard disks are completely empty, wiped. There's effectively nothing on it. That's exactly what I mean. Basically a virtual version of a physical computer that has nothing on it. Let's begin. The first step is to ensure we have our Oracle VM Virtualbox Manager running. Okay, I have it running here as you can see. The next step is to, from the menu bar, we can either select Machine and New, or we can simply click the New button here. They both do the exact same thing. So I'm going to select New. Great. So we're now presented with a dialog box called Create Virtual Machine. And we're asked for several details, the name and the operating system that we intend to install on the computer, our virtual machine. Okay, so I'm going to choose a really obvious name called Ubuntu, because that's going to be the name of my operating system. The type I'm going to leave selected as Linux, and then the version I'm going to leave selected as Ubuntu 64-bit. That's the version I intend to install later on. Okay, great. Select Next. Now I'm asked to choose the memory size. Now, it all depends on the minimum requirements of your operating system and how much memory you want to install. To the best of my knowledge, Ubuntu requires a minimum of 2 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm going to choose 4 gigabytes of RAM. As it happens, I have plenty of RAM free, so I'm going to select 4096, which is megabytes, which is 4 gigabytes of RAM. Perfect. So I'm going to select Next. I'm now asked to choose if I wish to create a hard disk. So if you wish, you can add a virtual hard disk to the new machine. Now we should do this. And so we're going to choose the option, create a virtual hard disk now. Don't worry about the recommended size yet. So click create. Next, we're going to ask what is the file type. And there's different types of virtual hard disks that can be created. We're going to select the default VDI VirtualBox disk image. It's fine. And select next. Next, we're asked the type of storage we wish to use. We have a choice between dynamically allocated and fixed size. We're going to choose dynamically allocated. This basically means it will only use the space on your physical drive as it fills up to the maximum size that we specify. Although note, it will not shrink again once the space has been freed. So basically, it'll only use up as much space as is needed, but it will grow, and it will never shrink. That's what we're saying there. Okay, let us select Next. So now I have to choose the size of the hard disk, my virtual hard disk. Ubuntu Desktop Edition, which I'm going to install, the minimum hard disk size is 25 gigabytes. So I'm going to select that. Now be aware, it's not going to create now a 25 gigabyte virtual hard drive file. No, it's actually going to create a file that's only a couple of megabytes, believe it or not gigabytes. That's precisely because the hard disk will be completely empty. Only when I install the operating system and files are created and added to the virtual hard drive will it start to grow up to a maximum of 25 gig. Okay, that's fine. Let us select create. And that's it. We've actually created our virtual version of our physical machine. So to see the details, you can either click on the details button here, or you can select machine tools and details. So what am I looking at? These are the details these are the physical components, if you like, and configuration of my virtual machine. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that there. So you can see the details here. Now, you can actually modify these details at any time by selecting the virtual machine on the left and right-clicking over it and selecting settings. And then you can go through the settings and change these yourselves. I'll actually create a video where I'll walk through the various settings and explain what they mean. But for the moment, that's all I want to show you. That's how you create a virtual version of a physical disk, how to create a virtual machine that is capable of receiving an installation of Ubuntu Linux. Okay, thank you very much.